Beware. 5 terrifying things evil narcissists do to shatter your heart. Most people will tell you, narcissists just lash out when they are angry. But that's not the truth. What truly sets an evil narcissist apart is not random outbursts. It's deliberate destruction. Their cruelty is crafted, calculated, and timed to leave wounds that scar your spirit, not just your skin. They want you to experience a kind of suffering so deep that it follows you forever, a torment so heavy that you start believing you brought it upon yourself. They operate like a sinister chess master, quietly arranging the board of your life. They remove the very support you need when you need it most. They slip you a wrong answer disguised as guidance at the perfect moment to derail you. They extinguish the one spark of joy or hope that was keeping you alive. And then, when your world collapses, they simply step back, watching you point the finger at yourself while they stand there looking blameless. This is no accident. It's their carefully orchestrated campaign of destruction. If you want to protect yourself, you need to recognize it for what it is. That brings us to today's subject, the 5 deliberate moves evil narcissists use to shatter your soul. The first move is chilling in its simplicity. They let you fail on purpose. Picture yourself at a crossroads, uncertain which direction to take. You might turn to them, thinking they care, or believing they have wisdom you don't. In that moment, they see your blind spot. They know exactly which path will lead to ruin. And instead of warning you, instead of pulling you back from the edge, they stay silent. Sometimes, they do wise. They nudge you forward with a half-truth, a misleading suggestion, or a subtle encouragement that seals your downfall. This sabotage can take many forms. It might mean you miss an important deadline. It could mean you sign the wrong contract, invest in the wrong opportunity, or trust the wrong person. They see you about to walk into the fire, and they let it happen. Why? Because watching you burn fuels them. And when the flames consume you, they don't reach out with comfort. No, they arrive later with judgment, smug superiority, and scathing words. You should have known better. Weren't you supposed to be smart? I thought you had everything under control. That is their twisted satisfaction, letting you crumble and then stepping in as the so-called wise observer. I'll never forget the words of my own father. Never show anyone the right path. Always mislead them. Keep them off balance. Keep them stuck. And he lived by those words. People would go to him for advice, desperate for direction, and he would purposely leave out the one crucial piece that mattered most, ensuring they never moved forward. That is the depth of envy and malice we're dealing with. And when the inevitable happens, when you fall flat, they don't just smirk in silence. They make sure you carry the weight of false accountability. They twist the knife, making you believe you're the fool for not seeing what they saw all along. It's not just sabotage, it's a performance of superiority. And the cruelest part, they feel powerful in those moments. Powerful for wrecking your life, powerful for controlling outcomes without even lifting a finger. And that's only the beginning. The second move is even darker. They destroy the one thing you love most. A narcissist cannot tolerate sharing your heart or your attention with anything else, whether it's your passion, your career, your friendships, your pet, or your family. If something brings you joy or makes your soul feel alive, they see it as competition. In their eyes, how dare you love anything, or anyone, more than them? That envy doesn't just simmer quietly. It festers, and it transforms into a mission to poison, sabotage, or completely destroy whatever it is that makes your life worth living. They don't come for your heart all at once. They dismantle it piece by piece. First, they whisper seeds of doubt about the friend who has always been loyal to you. Then, they drip suspicion into your family ties until the warmth of home begins to feel foreign. They convince you your job undervalues you, that your efforts are meaningless, that your place in the world is shrinking. Sometimes it's subtle erosion, an invisible chisel tapping away. Other times it's sudden and merciless. A beloved pet gone under mysterious circumstances, a partner turning cold overnight, a career-shattering mistake that traces back to their fingerprints. What makes their cruelty so devastating is not only the loss itself, but the poison it leaves behind. The unbearable question, am I even allowed to love anything without it being destroyed? Imagine waking up to find your cat lifeless, your career gone, or your closest bond shattered. That is the scale of their malice. They don't just want to break your heart in the moment. They want to scar you so deeply that you forever associate love with danger. Their voice stays in your mind, whispering warnings each time you dare to feel joy again. That is why they are not simply cruel, but evil. The third weapon in their arsenal is silence, deliberate, weaponized silence. They see the email carrying your deadline, the voicemail offering you an interview, the bill that needs to be paid, the call about a family emergency. They know, but they withhold. They let the clock run out while they sit in smug stillness. Then, when the damage is irreversible, they either mention it casually as if it were trivial or deny knowing anything at all. The loss here goes beyond missed opportunities. It seeps into your self-image, convincing you that you are scatterbrained, incompetent, always late, always failing. In reality, they are the architect of the chaos. They control the flow of truth, manufacturing your failures and then presenting themselves as the calm, capable anchor you can never live without. It is a cruel illusion. Real love hands you the missing puzzle piece so you can thrive. A narcissist hides it so you stumble, so your self-confidence erodes one deadline, one bill, one chance at a time. And each chip at your confidence makes you more dependent on them. Exactly what they want. The fourth move is even more insidious. They corrode your moral compass until you betray yourself. It doesn't come with shouting or demands. It comes with subtle traps disguised as harmless favors. They might ask you to lie for them just this once, push you to cut ties with someone unfairly, or nudge you to bend the truth at work because everyone does it. At first, you feel uneasy, but you tell yourself it's no big deal. Then it happens again and again, until the small compromises stack up into a mountain you can no longer ignore. Before you know it, you're carrying shame for choices you never wanted to make. And shame is their greatest accomplice. It silences you, isolates you, convinces you not to seek help because you're afraid of being judged, or worse, of becoming like them. Later, when you finally try to reclaim yourself, they weaponize your past compromises. They call you a hypocrite. They mock your attempts at integrity. They accuse you of betrayal, twisting the story so that they appear as the standard you failed to meet. That is their genius, breaking you until you can't tell whether you're the villain or the victim. They never simply let you drift from your values. You are trained, step by step, into betraying your own integrity. Then, once the guilt took root, they fastened it around your neck like a leash, pulling at it whenever they pleased. And that brings us to the final strike, their fifth move, the deliberate sabotage of your creative flow. They know creativity is your oxygen. Whether it is writing, painting, dancing, designing, building, whatever awakens your soul. This is the one place where you are untouchable, where your spirit rises beyond their reach. They see it. They hate it. So instead of protecting it, they target it with precision. Notice the pattern. You finally carve out a moment. Inspiration begins to rise, and right then they pounce. Not an hour before, not after you're done, but exactly at the instant your spark ignites. A sudden fight, a guilt trip, an urgent request, or some carefully crafted distraction, all designed to slam the fragile door of flow shut. Because once it closes, you can't force it open again. Over time, this theft begins to wear on you. You tell yourself you lack discipline, that you can't focus, that you're lazy or inconsistent. But none of that is real. What's real is that you were conditioned to link creation with interruption. They wanted you to stop trying altogether, to surrender the identity of an artist, builder, or dreamer, and replace it with the shameful story of someone who never finishes anything. That is their deepest theft, not the projects you abandoned, but the part of you that believed in your own brilliance. And here's the cruelest twist. You can't prove it. You can't show anyone that every time you sat at your desk, they found a way to break the moment. Outsiders don't see the pattern. They dismiss your pain. Come on, they didn't scream at you. They didn't hit you. What abuse are you talking about? And so you are left carrying not only the loss of your creative life, but also the burden of not being believed. That is why this wound cuts so deep, It convinces you that the best part of you never really existed. When you step back and look at the full thread connecting all 5 moves, the picture is clear. Every tactic has the same aim: to make you turn against yourself. They want you convinced you are careless, incompetent, chaotic, hypocritical, and uninspired. They engineer the collapse, then stand at a distance while you drown in the shame they created. But the truth is stark and undeniable. You were never too careless, never too weak, never too lazy. You were targeted. Period. They designed the trap, then laughed as you stumbled into it. The good news is that once you see the playbook, the game changes. You begin to notice when silence is not oversight but strategy. You declare the things you love as sacred and beyond their reach. You set up systems to receive information directly, without letting it pass through their filters. You realign with your values, reclaim them as your compass, and guard your creative flame as if it were the light of your future. Because it is. That is how you dismantle their campaign of destruction. That is how you rise, not just despite their design, but because you finally see it for what it is.